हेलो।
गिरीश स्टार्ट
करूं? अच्छा
गिरीश एक मिनट
ओके।
Good morning, friends. I welcome you to today's webinar and I hand over the proceedings to Girish Bhai Rathi, our moderator. Girish, please.
Thank you, Vijay. Good morning, friends. On behalf of Tax Friends Mumbai, Tax Practitioners Association Thane, Josh Professional Foundation Thane, Income Tax Bar Association Varanasi, Income Tax Bar Association Prayagraj, Legal Relief Society Kolkata, Association of Tax Practitioners Vellore, and Bhiwandi Tax Practitioners Association Bhiwandi, I welcome you to today's knowledge sharing series organized by these all the organizations. Today we have learned speaker Sri Dilip Phadke with us, who will guide us on the composite and mixed supply under the GST. Friends, let me introduce CA Dilip Phadke sir. He is a senior most chartered accountant and passed his CA and LLB in 1976. He is a founder member and senior partner of Sky GDP and Associates. Since last 44 years, he is practicing as a chartered accountant in the field of MVAT, sales tax, GST, income tax, project finance, and audits. He has co-authored various books. He has co-authored commentary on the Maharashtra Value Added Tax 2002, which was published by Maharashtra Sales Tax and VAT News. He has co-authored Handbook and Practice Manual of GST. He is editor of MVAT and GST News, which is published weekly. He has co-authored books for FY BCom, SY BCom on the subject of accountancy and management account for TY BCom. He has written articles on LBT, which was published in the journal published by Chamber of Income Tax Consultant, and also in the STR, which is published by STPM Maharashtra. Academically, he is a professor and head of the account department of Lala Lajpat Rai College for last 35 years, and that was up to 2012. He is a member of local management committee of Lala Lajpat Rai College. He is recognized postgraduate teacher in accountancy by Mumbai University. He is visiting faculty at management institutes. He is ex-member of career development committee of WIRC. He is a member of real estate self-development committee. He was chairman of board of studies in accountancy, Mumbai University in 2010-11. He is an ex-member of various committee, to name a few: the Academic Council, the Faculty of Commerce, the Board of University Teaching and Research for Faculty of Commerce, the Research and Recognition Committee. He is member of Committee for Approval of Professors' Appointment in various college. He is a member of LIC for approval of college for starting and continuing new educational courses. He has helped in WRC in revising final course material in indirect taxes and compiler of articles on VAT and CST in WRC material, which was published in 2013-14. He is a panel of various college for preparing syllabus for accountancy. As a speaker and resources person, he has delivered his lecture at various study circle meeting of study circle meeting of WIRC of ICAI and BCA on the subject of accounting, society accounting, on VAT, GST, housing society, and LBT. He is a speaker at Regional Training Institute at Audit Bhavan, Bandra. He is a resource person on VAT refresher course under UGC for professors of Mumbai University. He has delivered lectures on VAT, GST, audit, and issues in VAT and the sales tax officer issues in the VAT to the sales tax officer of the office at Palghar, Nala Sopara, Bhainder, and GST office Bhavan, Mumbai and Goa. He has delivered lecture on e-filing of VAT returns to the business persons as a sales tax expert at Virar and Vasai. He has delivered lectures on the foods and hospitality industries, MSMEs, textile industries, construction, real estate industries, healthcare, and various industries. With this, friends, I welcome today's speaker, Senior CA Sir Dilip Phadke Sir. Welcome him. Over to Phadke Sir.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Today, I am invited by all these associations through Vijay Kevaramani, my moderator Girish Rathi sir. So I thank both of them along with all these associations who are also giving or organizing this particular lecture. So they are Tax Friends Mumbai, Tax Practitioner Association Thane, Joe's Professional Foundation, Income Tax Bar Association Varanasi, Income Tax Bar Association Prayagraj, Legal Relief Society Kolkata, Association of Tax Practitioners Vellore, and Bhiwandi Tax Practitioners Association. Today, our topic is composite supply and mixed supply, which we are going to discuss. Now, why this particular topic was taken up and what we are going to discuss. Now, the basic purpose of taking up this particular topic is the taxation changes if the type of the supply changes. And it is important for the purpose of finding out what is the rate of tax which is to be charged. That's why what we are going to discuss today is background, that is how this particular mixed supply and composite supply has come into the picture. Analysis of the definition of the composite supply, taxation of the composite supply, circular issues on the composite supply, mixed supply, advance authority rulings on composite supply, posers and examples. Now first let us discuss about the background. Now this particular background which is there, if we think that when this particular composite supply or composite supply taxation started, since independence, Government of India is taxing the sale of goods. They tried to tax the supply, composite supply from 1950. There were many cases which were there in the courts. Ultimately, Supreme Court gave a judgment in case of Gannon Dunkerley that state has no power to levy the tax on an indivisible works contract and to split the composite supply into 2 or 3 parts, single out the goods part and tax only goods part. So we have to take the particular tax supply or that particular transaction as a total transaction and we cannot split it. So this was going on till 1980s. In 1982, the government came out with the amendment, 46th amendment, and they introduced clause 29A in the article 366. Now, because of this particular 29A, it was possible for the government to tax on purchase of goods, and it will also include the taxation whether the goods are transferred or property in the goods is transferred as goods or in some other form, and even if it is a works contract. So because of this amendment, from 1982, the government got the power to levy the tax on works contract. Now, state of Maharashtra in the beginning brought a separate act in 1985, which we are knowing as works contract tax. So in 1985, along with the Sales Tax Act, there was a separate act to tax the transactions which were having works contract. Now, this particular taxation continued till 2005, when MVAT came. Now, VAT actually came from 2005, and in the definition of sale, they included certain transactions which are deemed sale for the purpose of the deemed sale in the definition of sale. So explanation B of the definition of sale of the MVAT Act said the transfer of property in goods, whether as goods or in some other form, involved in execution of the works contract, including an arrangement for carrying out for cash deferred payment or other valuable consideration, the building, construction, manufacturing, processing, fabrication, erection, installation, fitting out, improvement, modification, repair or commissioning of any movable or immovable property. Hence, the works contract continued to be subject matter of VAT. So in VAT also, because of this definition, the works contract were taxable. Now, if you see the difference in GST and this particular VAT definition, here they say that even if the works contract is done on movable property or immovable property, it is a works contract. And we can divide the total contract into labor and the material and tax the material portion. So this was the basic difference in VAT. Now, if you see the definite judgments which are given by the Supreme Court in 2013 and 14, that is Kone Elevators and Supreme Larsen and Toubro, they have upheld that 46th Amendment has given the power to artificially split the composite supply into two parts and levy the tax on the material or goods portion. Now, once we have understood that the taxation was allowed in VAT, the service tax came into the force in 1995. Now, this 1995 had certain portion in 66 for F. It said that bundled services to mean the bundle of provision of various services wherein the element of provision of one service was combined with an element or elements of provision of other services, and the taxability of such bundled services was determined as follows. If various elements of the bundled services were naturally bundled in the ordinary course of business, it was to be treated as a provision of a single service, which gave bundle its essential character. You can understand that this particular definition is converted under GST as a composite supply. And afterwards, they say, if the various elements of such services were not naturally bundled in ordinary course of business, it was to be treated as a provision of single service, which resulted in the highest tax liability for service tax. So this particular portion has become mixed supply under GST. Now, MVAT Act and service tax, if you put together, some of the transactions were being double taxed, especially if we think about the real estate transactions. There was a tax which was under VAT as well as under service tax. Similarly, the restaurant supplies, there was a tax under VAT as well as under service tax. So under GST, they brought in only one tax for goods and services. So what they have done, GST identifies the transaction as a composite supply and mixed supply or works contract. Now, works contract they have defined under section 2119 is a composite supply of immovable property. Composite, so works contract is a composite supply, but if it is on immovable property, it becomes works contract. Composite supply, which is defined under 230, section 2, subsection 30, it is taxing two or more supplies of goods and services. How they do it, we are going to see it in next slides. Mixed supply is defined under section 274. It is also supply of two or more items for a single price. So now, why there is a division of supply into three categories for the purpose of taxation? Now, whenever we are making any supply which is only of services or various services only, then taxing it is not difficult. Basically because we can find out the SSC code, and whatever is the rate applicable, we can definitely apply it and prepare the bill. In case of goods, we can refer to the HSN and prepare the bill and supply it. But when there is a mixture, when the goods are supplied along with the services or services are supplied along with the goods, the question is whether to apply the rate which is applicable to the goods or it is applicable to the services. All these complications start. Now, in such case, what we have to do? In such cases, we have to first find out whether the supply of the goods and services is for immovable property. Now, if it is for immovable property, then it totally goes out of the composite supply and mixed supply, and it will be treated as a works contract. Now, if it is not for immovable property, then the question arises whether it is for movable property and what will be the rate. So, if the rate which is applicable to the works contract is applied, it will be the composite supply works contract. And where we do that, we have to remember one thing: if it is a pure service like labor charges, then we don't apply this particular method for the purpose of taxation. But if it is not relating to the immovable property, then either it will be a composite supply or it will be a mixed supply. And we are going to discuss the composite supply in details. And once the composite supply is understood clearly, the mixed supply will be very easy to understand. I'll be making a passing reference to the works contract for the purpose of bringing completeness to the discussion. Now let us first see what is the definition of the composite supply. Now composite supply, now I have put obliques in between. Now why these obliques? Obliques are not there in the definition. I have put them to make you understand that we are going to discuss it by these parts. So let us read the definition first. Composite supply means a supply made by a taxable person to a recipient consisting of two or more taxable supplies of the goods or services or both, and or any combination thereof, which are naturally bundled and supplied in conjunction with each other in accordance in ordinary course of business, one of which is the principal supply. Now, if we see the definition, the first word itself says that composite supply means. Now, whenever any definition starts with means, it indicates that it is exhaustive definition, and other than what it described in this particular definition cannot be brought in. So we have to follow it word to word, and we have to interpret the words which are given in the definition. We cannot interpolate any other words into the definition. The second thing which we have to understand is it has to fulfill all the conditions of a supply, because it says means a supply. So supply, if we see section 7 of the GST Act, there are various conditions which are to be fulfilled if the transaction has to be a supply. Like it should be in furtherance of business, it should be for consideration, etc., which all of us know, so that there is not much of a problem. Now let us go to the third part. As per section 2 of subsection 107, a taxable person supply has to be made by one supplier. That is, when we say by a taxable person, means a single person. So it should be a single person, single supplier. If let us say a supply is made by X and transportation is provided by Y, then it will not fall in this particular definition. So basically, we have to see that the supply made is by one single person. Now, what is the meaning of recipient? Supply of the goods or services or both means where a consideration is payable for the supply of goods or services or both, the person who is liable to pay that consideration. So the person who is liable to pay the consideration is the recipient. The person who actually receives, whether is important, where no consideration is payable for the supply of the goods, the person to whom the goods are delivered or made available, or to whom possession or use of the goods is given, is made available. Where no consideration is payable for the supply of service, the person to whom the services are rendered. And any reference to a person to whom supply is made shall be constructed as a reference to the recipient of the supply and shall include an agent acting on such as such on behalf of the recipient. So there should be a supplier, there should be a recipient. So one supplier, another recipient, then there will be a composite supply consisting of two or more taxable supplies of the goods or services or both or any combination thereof. So when you want to discuss composite supply, it is necessary that there should be minimum two supplies. If there is only one supply, there is no question of composite supply. So minimum two supplies. There is no maximum limit specified for the purpose of the composite supply. So it can be any number. So it should be two or more goods or two or more services or combination of two or more goods or services and all the components. So whatever are the components of that particular composite supply, all of them should fulfill the condition of the supply. Let us take an example. If the supplier supplies air conditioner and he says that I am going to give free delivery and free installation. Now, whether the condition of the consideration is fulfilled, we will feel that it is not fulfilled. But no businessman is going to give any supply free of charge. So definitely, he must have included it. Even if he is not charging it separately, he must have included it into the price of the air conditioner. Now, if we see Circular 92 of 2019, dated 7th March 19, we can understand that if we give anything or businessman gives anything free, the price of it is also included into the original price of the price which is quoted for another product. Now, what is a taxable supply? Because it should be consisting of two or more taxable supplies. Now, taxable supplies is defined in section 108 of section 2. It means goods and services or goods or services which is liable to tax under this act. Exempt supplies are also included in taxable supplies. So exempt supplies, if there is no tax on it, how they are taxable? There is a tax on those goods, but government for the purpose of certain reasons has exempted them from the tax by a notification. So if we see what is the exempt supply and how it is a taxable supply, the exempt supply is defined in section 247. It means supply of any goods or services which attracts nil rate of tax or which may be wholly exempt from the tax under the section 11 or section 6 of the IGST Act. And if you see here, it says it includes non-taxable supply. Now, if it includes non-taxable supply, how exempt supply will be the composite supply, because it is necessary that it should be taxable supply. Now, if you go through our GST law, we'll know that the non-taxable supplies are included into exempt supplies only for the purpose of reversal of ITC of a higher amount, so that exempt supplies amount increases by including non-taxable supplies. Now, if we want to know which are the non-taxable supplies, we have to refer to section 9.1 and 9.2. And if we read it, 9.1 and 9.2, we understand that each and every good or services are taxable under GST except alcoholic liquor for human consumption, money and securities, land, building or its part after completion, employee and employer services. So only these 5 are non-taxable supplies, or on which there is no tax on the no tax in GST. Now, when we say that it should be 2 taxable supplies, if we take various examples where there is a combination of taxable and non-taxable supply, let us discuss what will happen. If a petrol is sold with lubricant for two-wheeler, what will happen? Petrol, non-taxable, lubricant, taxable. If we take cocktail, it is a liquor, might be 30 ml or 60 ml, along with additives, which might be more than 200, 300 ml. So, liquor, non-taxable, other the additives which are added, taxable. Sale of car with 5 liters petrol, car taxable, petrol non-taxable. Buffet given for one price, where liquor is served free. If you see these particular types of, there can be many others. Just 4 we are going to discuss in short. If we see these types of transactions will be out of composite supply. But if they go out of composite supply, how to tax it? Now, generally, there will be a separate bill for the petrol and lubricant, that is at the initial stage only. Liquor, when we take cocktail, liquor is the prominent intention. We don't take cocktail for the purpose of the addings which are there, like tomato juice or something, which is added to the liquor. The intention is to drink liquor with a different taste. So prominent intention is liquor. So it will not come under GST. Sale of car with 5 liters petrol. Now here, what they do is generally, they give the cash memo of a petrol pump which is nearby for the purpose of filling it up with the petrol. So they divide the transaction at the initial stage only. In buffet also, if the liquor is served, either they charge it separately, that is, they divide the bill into 2 parts. For food and other services, they charge one amount, and for liquor, they charge another amount. So that is how generally there will be some tactic because of which these types of transactions will be taxed. Now, if you see GST, there is only one case where there is a deduction given for the non-taxable items. That is in the case of sale of under construction flats. They say that if a flat is sold along with the land, then 1/3 deduction will be given for land. So without going into the complications, why 1/3 and all that, here it is given that specifically a non-taxable element is excluded from the price so that 2/3, which is taxable, can be taxed by the government. Now the next part of the definition is the two or more supply should be naturally bundled. Now naturally bundled means what? Natural means normal. There should not be any special intervention. It should be natural manner. So as you expect, normally, that will be the meaning of natural. So naturally combining 2 or 3 products or mixing done in regular course of business means naturally bundled. Now what is the meaning of bundled? Bundled means mixing 2 or more related products for a single price. Combined reading of these 2 words together, what we can say, selling 2 or more related things for a single price by a single contract. So it should be a single contract. It should be a single price by a single supplier. There cannot be more than 2 suppliers. There cannot be more than 2 suppliers. There cannot be more than 1 contract. And it should be in the normal course of business. Now, if we go through section 15.2, that also tells us the same thing. If we read section 15.2, it does not allow to split composite supply for the purpose of valuation. What it says, the composite supply value of the supply shall include incidental expenses, including commission, packing, charged by the supplier to the recipient of the supply, and any amount charged for anything done by the supplier in respect of the supply of the goods or services or both at the time of or before delivery of the goods or supply of the services. Now, if you see that whatever is done before the delivery of the goods, the price of it should be included into the price of the principal supply. And then tax should be charged according to this definition also. If we go further in section 15, subclause D says that interest or late fee or penalty for delayed payment of any consideration for any supply will be also taxed at the rate of original supply. Let us take a simple example. XYZ has sold certain things to ABC at the rate of 28% as per the contract. The goods are to be delivered door of the ABC. Now, if suppose the delivery is given by some other supplier, can it be said that if this particular transportation charges are shown separately into the bill, can it be taxed at 12%? Answer is no. So basically, it will be taxed at 28% only because that is the tax rate which is applicable to the principal supply or original supply. Suppose the same goods, the terms are ex-factory, but the supplier organizes the transportation on behalf of the purchaser. Now, in that case, what will happen? Now, according to contract, the delivery is not to be given by the supplier. So here there are 2 separate supplies. One, supply of the goods ex-factory. Then Actually, the purchaser should arrange the transport and take the delivery to his particular place. But he is unable to do that. So he requests XYZ to do it. XYZ will organize the transporter. The transporter will deliver the goods to XYZ, to ABC, and transporter himself will prepare a separate bill on ABC, which will not be included into the price which is charged by the by XYZ. So in these same case, if it is X door delivery and X factory, what difference it makes, that will make it clear when it is a composite supply. Then next part of the definition, supplied in conjunction with each other. Now, if we see the previous word which was used, it should be naturally bundled. Now they say supplied in conjunction with each other. Actually, both the words nearly mean the same thing. But just to bring more emphasis on the particular bundling or natural combination, these is repeated. But actually both of them have the same meaning. It is not necessary that all the related goods and services should be supplied at the same time. That is, suppose if I am giving AC or selling AC along with delivery and installation. Now suppose I give the delivery today. The installation I might do after 2 days, depending upon the availability of the persons who are installing it. So it is not necessary that all the related services or goods should be supplied at the same time. So that also we can keep it in mind. Now, what is the meaning of ordinary course of business? Now, ordinary course of business means the way in which the business is done. Naturally, it should be combined. It should not be combined by bringing the things which can't be combined together. So 2 or more goods or services are bundled together in ordinary course of business, and it should be treated as a single supply. In service tax, there was an explanation of bundled services. So the explanation said that provision of the various services wherein element of provision of one service is combined with the element of provision of other service. In composite supply under GST, the concept of naturally bundled services is identical with the bundled services under service tax. For example, let us take a case. If we book a ticket of Rajdhani, they don't show separately that food will be supplied. But when you board the train, they give you cold drinks, they give you breakfast in the morning, in the night they give you dinner, etc. So all that is included into the fare of the Rajdhani train ticket. So this is naturally bundled for the purpose of providing that particular service of traveling. Now let us take another example. If a hotel is providing pickup and drop, they are giving buffet plus stay for a single price. Now, if we want to eat the same thing separately, that is available, definitely it is available. But the price is too much. And in the package, generally they will make it economic package and it will be available separately. But suppose I say that I'm not going to have that particular breakfast. So give me back the price of the breakfast. That will not be done because your contract is pick up drop as well as breakfast together. So it will not be possible for you to divide that particular supply into 2 parts. That is, I don't want breakfast, give me price back. That will not be possible. So in nutshell, naturally bundled and supplied in conjunction with each other shall be read together without dissecting word by word. Otherwise, the interpretation which will be there will be hazardous. Now, one of which should be a principal supply. Next part of the definition. Now, what is the meaning of principal supply? Now, principal supply means the supply of the goods or services which constitutes the predominant element of a composite supply, and to which any other supply forming part of that composite supply is ancillary. Now, if we see that one is principal supply and other is ancillary supply, one supply which is important and other supplies will not be that important. But does it mean that without that it can be supplied? Answer is no. They have to be supplied together. Then only they will become ancillary. And if that definition of goods and services is absent, then there will be a problem. To decide what is the predominant supply, we can use various yardsticks. So what is the intention of the recipient or the buyer? If I purchase a SIM card, I'm not purchasing SIM card just as a goods. My intention is I'll get the service. So that can be one of the intention of the supplier and the recipient can be one of the category to decide which is principal supply. Similarly, it can be value. Similarly, it can be volume or quantity also. So by applying these yardsticks, we'll be deciding what is the principal supply and what will be the ancillary supply. Now, there are many times various services which are not mentioned, but they are given. For example, if you want to purchase a shirt, that shirt is displayed on in the window. When you go, it will be opened from the packet. It will be shown to you. You will be given trial. Then again, it will be packed back and it will be given to you. So all these services are there for the purpose of sale, but they are not mentioned separately. So that is combined in the principal supply. So ancillary supply is a subordinate supply. Now, if we have seen already in section 15(2)(c) that incidental supplies and ancillary supplies, you will feel that they are same. They are same. There is no question about it. If we read 15(2)(c) and if we read ancillary services or ancillary supplies, we understand that they are same only. Now, composite supply shall be treated as a supply of service. In schedule 2, entry 6, it is given. Now, what is the meaning of works contract? It is defined in section 2119 as a contract for building, construction, fabrication, completion, erection, installation, fitting out, etc., etc., wherein transfer of property in goods, whether as goods or in some other form, is involved in execution of such a contract. So it should be for a immovable property, and there should be transfer of some goods in that particular works contract. Then only it will become a works contract. Otherwise, it will not be a works contract. So two conditions important. Transfer of property in goods is there, and it is for so many things given regarding the immovable property. Then only it will be called as a works contract. Suppose if I give labor, that is, let us say I am a RCC contractor, I am giving coca ready for the building, I am not purchasing any material, then in that case, it will not be a works contract, even if it is in respect of the immovable property. Now, if we see that works contract, many a times the material element is more than 60 to 70%. But still, for the purpose of taxation, they say that it is not supply of goods, it is supply of service. So as per Schedule 2, Entry 6, it is treated as supply of service. Similarly, if we see in Schedule 2, Entry 6, Part B, if there is a supply of food or any other article for human consumption other than alcoholic liquor for human consumption, it should be treated as a service. Now suppose if nowadays in this COVID situation, we bring parcel of food to our home, are we getting any service in it? But still, it will be treated as a service because as per Schedule 2, Entry 6, it is said that even a counter sale will be also treated as a service. The taxability on a composite supply is defined in Section 8. So we have discussed thoroughly what is a composite supply. Now let us go to the taxability. It is given in Section 8. Section 8 says that the tax liability on a composite supply shall be determined in following manner, namely, a composite supply comprising of two or more supplies, one of which is a principal supply, shall be treated as a supply of such principal supply. So wording is treated as a supply of principal supply. Wording is not, it shall be deemed to be that of principal supply. There is a difference. So what they are doing, they are giving the color of the principal supply to the whole supply. They are not deeming that it is a supply of the principal supply only. So what it means, all the provisions regarding the supply, like time of supply, value of supply, place of supply, all these which are applicable to the principal supply will be applicable to all other ancillary supplies also. So what it means is, what is the tax rate applicable to the principal supply will be applicable to the items which are supplied, which are ancillary. Now there is one exemption which is there for the composite supply. Now this exemption is given under notification 12 of 2017 by entry 3A, which is inserted by notification 2 of 2018, dated 25th January 2018. What it says? It says that composite supply of the goods and services in which the value of the supply of the goods constitute more than 25% of the said composite supply, provided to the central government, state government, union territories, local authority, government entity, by way of any activity in relation to any function entrusted to a panchayat under Article 243G of the Constitution, or in relation to any function entrusted to municipality under Article 243W of the Constitution. So here, if the material which is supplied in that particular composite supply is less than 25%, then that becomes tax-free, or there will not be any tax on such kind of supply. But if we go through the Nurserymen Cooperative Society, there is a triple AR of the Karnataka, which is given in May 20. It says that the supply by a subcontractor to the applicant of the execution of the subcontract work of the said activity would not be exempt, as it is not covered either in entry 3 or 3A of notification 12 of 2017 as amended, as the applicant being the recipient of such service is not covered under the class of recipient enumerated in the said entry. So over here we have to keep idea in mind that if I get activity of a composite supply or contract for composite supply where material, like let's say cleaning of gutters by putting disinfectant in it. The material is not more than 25%. Then I should not subcontract that particular transaction or that particular supply to anybody else. Otherwise, that subcontractor will charge me the full amount of tax, but I will not be entitled for the purpose of ITC because my supply will be exempt. Now, there are other circulars also which are there in respect of composite supply. One is in respect of printing. So, according to the circular 11 of 2017, they have divided the printing into two parts. Supply of books, pamphlets, brochures, annual report, etc. should be treated as a supply of service of printing. But if it is printing of envelopes, letterhead, printed boxes, tissues, napkins, wallpapers, etc., printed with the design, logo, etc., that should be treated as a supply of those goods. So that is Circular 11 of 2017. Now, Circular 32 of 2018. Food supplied to the inpatient. In healthcare services, if there is a food supplied to the inpatient, then it should be treated as healthcare service only. And because the healthcare service is exempt from tax, the food supplied to the inpatient also will be exempt. There is another circular which is issued, that is regarding bus bodybuilding. It is 34 of 2018. Similarly, there is a retrading of the tires. There is also a circular for that. It says that if the rubber is applied on the tire which is supplied by you, second-hand tire which you have given for the purpose of retrading, it will be a service. Rubber will become ancillary supply. But if you purchase a retraded tire, then there will be a case of supply of the goods. So there is another circular issued which is 47 of 2018. Now generally what we feel that if I give my car for servicing, now I give the car for the purpose of service, and while doing the service they find out that the oil has become dull or the coolant has become dull, then they replace it. But over here they say that in 47 of 2018, so according to me, the service element is important because I go over there for the purpose of getting the service. My intention is not purchasing the parts from the person who is providing the services. But if you read Circular 47, it says that the taxability of the supply would have to be determined on a case-to-case basis, looking at the facts and circumstances of each case. Where a supply involves supply of both the goods and services, and the value of such goods or services supplied are shown separately, the goods and services would be liable to tax at the rate as applicable to such goods and services separately. So according to 47, it is possible to charge the services separately and tax them separately, and the parts which are provided separately and tax the parts which are supplied, generally because the parts or components of the vehicles are taxable at 28% according to me. To get that advantage of 28% taxation, this particular circular is brought in. Now, once the discussion of composite supply is over, let us discuss what is a mixed supply. Now, mixed supply, it is defined in section 74 of section 2. It means two or more individual supplies of the goods or services Have they said taxable? Answer is no. They are not said taxable. It means two or more individual supplies. So they should be combined, or they should have relation, they should be bundled. All these is not there in this particular definition. Or any combination thereof, made in conjunction with each other by a person for a single price, where such supply does not constitute a composite supply. Now they are given a example or illustration where generally we purchase a packet containing various items at the time of giving the gifts at the time of Diwali. We combine many things, chocolates, sweets, perfumes, many things we put together and give it as a gift. So there is no relation of these goods with each other. They are just put together in one parcel and good, nice packaging. Actually, there are prices of these products separately available. But instead of giving separate prices, one price is quoted. Then in that case, what they say, Section 8 tells you that the tax liability on a mixed supply shall be determined in the following manner. Namely, a mixed supply comprising two or more supplies shall be treated as a supply of that particular supply which attracts the highest rate of tax. So if you put in the packet the items which are 28% taxable, as well as 5% taxable, as well as some of which are exempt, then on all the total price of that particular packet, 28% will be chargeable. So that is according to Section 8. If we analyze this particular mixed supply definition, then we will be able to divide it into four parts. The goods or services supplied together have an identity of its own. They can be brought and sold separately. So whatever we have packed in that particular packet is available separately. Suppose I purchase them and I pack it separately, then it will not become a mixed supply. Even though the price of individual goods or services is known, no individual price is assigned to any of the goods or services supplied together, and they are deliberately supplied for a single consolidated price as a packet. Third, the supply should not constitute a composite supply. So it should not become a composite supply. We have already seen when it becomes composite supply. There should not be natural bundling, supplying conjointly, ordinary course of business. So all these things should not be there if you want it to be a mixed supply. And fourth, if the goods or services are sold separately, then it will be neither a mixed supply nor a composite supply. So that is mixed supply. Now I have dealt with certain AR. Now these AR discuss composite supply, and they are important. That's why I have covered them up over here. So I'm going to read out because this is the gist of that particular AR. So I don't want to change anything out of it. Turnkey contract. This is Vihan Enterprises, ARMP, dated January 20. Supply of the goods under works contract for a building of immovable property are included in the value of the contract for supply of services only where the transfer of property in goods, whether as goods or in some other form, is involved in the execution of the contract. Goods supplied under the turnkey contract, where there are multiple independent contracts, of which some are not in the nature of works contract, shall not be included into the value of the contract in the nature of a works contract merely on account of the fact that goods are being supplied under turnkey contract, part of which is in the nature of works contract, unless such supply of the all such goods is a part of and made in execution of the works contract. So what they have said, the supply of the equipment and material for substation, feeder base and transmission line under the contract of construction shall not be included in the value of the works contract for civil work for substation and feeder bay. Now, Vertu Engineering Private Limited, decision of October 19, Maharashtra State, supply, erection, installation, commissioning and testing of UPS. UPS system is fixed on a foundation or a platform which requires civil work for its efficient performance. This very fact does not mean the UPS system becomes immovable property. Further, the said UPS system can be uninstalled without causing any significant damage to its parts and can be shifted to another location if required. There is no works contract as defined under section 2119 involved in subject case, and what they have said is the tax rate will be 18% under the heading 8504. So this is our Maharashtra State AR saying that even if there is a little civil work involved, but the UPS is remaining movable, then in that case, the tax rate of UPS will be applicable for the purpose of the UPS systems. NR Engineering, January 19, again Maharashtra AR, works contract services or composite supply. It was a case of turnkey project, installation, testing, commissioning of relay and protection panel with substation automation at their various site location. Whether the services are bundled together. Now, they have given the definition of the works contract in the beginning, and then they have said for items 1 to 16 of there were 3 purchase orders. In all these 3 purchase orders, they had given prices of certain items separately. So in first purchase order, item 1 to 16 are inclusive of taxes and duties, etc. And prices for 17-18 of the schedule included service tax. Thus, purchase order was clearly bifurcated the contract into supply of the goods and services. The purchase order envisages separate payment for supply of the works and supply of the materials or equipments. So, what they have said, we find from all the 3 purchase orders that the contractor are considering a clear demarcation of goods and services to be provided by the applicant, but such supplies are naturally bundled and in conjunction with each other. In the 3 purchase orders submitted by the applicant, the major part of the goods part was nearly 90 to 95%. These goods are sold to the client by the applicant and they receive separate payment for such goods sold. Further, we find that the goods that are supplied are used by the applicant to provide services, installation, testing, commissioning of the substation. Without these goods and services cannot be supplied by the applicant, and therefore we find that the goods and services supplied as a combination and in conjunction and in the course of their business, where the principal supplies supply of goods. Thus, there is no works contract involved in subject case, and the supply is nothing but the composite supply of the goods being the principal supply as described under heading 8537, liable to tax at 18%. So this is also Maharashtra AR. Now some posers. Poser number 1. Is it necessary to give separate price for every component of the composite supply in the bill? If we give one price for all the components, will it become mixed supply and taxed at the highest rate? Answer is no. What we have to see in a composite supply is whether the things which are supplied together are naturally bundled. If they are naturally bundled, then there is no question of mixed supply. And once it is a composite supply, then as per the definition and taxation, whatever is the price of the principal supply will be applicable to the whole transaction. What is the meaning of bundle? Bundle is a group of things fastened together for convenient handling or package offering related products or services. Third poser. Supplier supplies the goods with door delivery. As he is unable to do so, customer arranges collection of the goods. He appoints a transporter and he collects the goods. Now, whether it will remain a composite supply. Now, if you see section 15(2), it says that the value of supply shall include any amount that the supplier is liable to pay in relation to such supply, but which has been incurred by the recipient of the supply and not included in the price actually paid or payable for the goods or services or both. So because the purchaser has paid some certain amount, the value of the transaction will not be reduced. The amount spent by the purchaser will be treated as a payment made by the purchaser toward that particular purchase price. And the tax will be charged by the supplier on the total value of the supply made by him, including transportation value. A banquet of service is being provided, like food, stay, conference facility, etc. Many of them chargeable at a different rate of tax. If the hotel charges lump sum amount for the entire bundle of services, whether it is a mixed or composite supply. Now the basic question again, whether it is naturally bundled. Now these particular kinds of services are bundled together for the purpose of convention center services. So when that is the case, it is normal course of business to mix such services which are given by the hotel, and they can charge separately or they can charge it together, and it will depend upon the contract which is entered into with the hotel. Then poser 5, because of the odd size of the machinery, the transportation and installation charges are more than the cost of the machine, which will be the principal supply. Now, have I ordered the machinery for the purpose of transportation, or transportation is there for the purpose of machinery? So answer will be transportation is there for the purpose of machinery. So principal supply will become machinery. Even if because of the odd size, the transporter might be charging more than the value of the machinery supplied. That is not a question. Basic question is, which is the principal supply? So if the principal supply is of machinery, then it will be taxed at the rate which is applicable to the machinery. So these are some examples of composite supply. Marriage or event photography. Now in marriage, we call photographer. They do the photo shoots at various locations. They do candid photography. They do videography. They do many things. And ultimately, for a price, they give a special album of 100 photos. They give you pen drive of the videos. They give separate pen drive for the candid photos, etc. Now over here, we'll see that the service of photography is important. That album which is given, it might be a memory for life, or the pen drive which is given is a ancillary supply. So principal supply will be the services of the photographer, and the tax rate applicable on that will be charged on the total transaction. Xerox copies, a composite supply wherein the principal supply is of service and supply of the goods such as paper and ink is ancillary. Comprehensive maintenance contract. Now we can give maintenance contract in two ways, with material, without material. Now if we give the contract with material, it is called as comprehensive contract. So if any part which is covered under that contract becomes defective, then in that case, that is covered up in that contract and it is supplied free of charge. So what will happen? What is principal supply over here? The principal supply will be maintenance service, and this supplying of the parts will be naturally bundled in that particular service. So the tax rate which is there for the maintenance service will be applicable for such contracts. Computer sold with wireless mouse, keyboard, preloaded software and adapter. Now basically it is purchaser's idea. If the purchasers wants preloaded software into the computer, the value of the computer will include the value of the software also. So I want Windows 10 and I take it along with the my laptop as preloaded software. Then it will be included into the value of the computer. So principal supply will be that of computer. So it will depend. Now mouse, keyboard, software is separately also available for a different price. But here my intention is to combine it and to purchase it together. Then the principal supply will be that of the computer. Now air conditioner. Now here what type of air conditioner you are purchasing will decide whether it will become a works contract or it will be a composite supply. Now if you purchase a window AC or split AC, delivery and installation free, the principal supply will be that of the AC and it will be taxed accordingly. But suppose I want centralized AC for my particular office. Now in that case, it will have conducts, it will have thermostat, temperature controller, then there will be control panels and many things which will be installed in my property. And then in that case, it will become immovable and then it will become works contract. So whatever I wanted to cover up in this particular presentation, it is over. So I will end up by a disclaimer. Speaker is responsible for what he speaks, but not for what you understand. GST laws are changing fast and evolving at great speed. Therefore, please finalize your view, opinions at your own peril before implementing them. For all your actions, the persons executing it should be held responsible. We have taken great care and exercised professional diligence while presenting the information to you. But please feel free to bring to our notice any error or omission that you may notice for the benefit of others in future. So I thank all of you for giving me patient hearing. I can't see it, but I hope that whatever I have discussed there is no difficulty. If there are any difficulties, you can ask the questions. But remember, these particular questions are going to be dependent on the facts. So if the facts are clear, I'll be able to answer it. Otherwise, the answer which I will give will not be correct. So in that case, I'll request you to send me an email so that I will grasp your questions when they are big, and then we will be, I'll be answering it separately. So my email address is Phadke1952, HADKE1952 @gmail.com. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. There are some queries on YouTube and Zoom chat also.
That's why we are there.
Yes, sir. So I will read for you.
Sure.
The query number 1: the jewelers are selling jewelry and giving fancy jewelry packages. That is free of cost to the customer. Is it mixed supply or composite supply? What will be the taxation part of free supply?
Now, see, basically that particular fancy jewelry which is given free of charge is just to attract the customers.
Yes.
The main intention is to sell the original jewelry. So, in the value of that particular jewelry which is there, the price of the imitation jewelry or fancy jewelry which is given will be included. And if you see circular 42, which already I have discussed in my presentation, if you give one thing free on another thing, the price of second thing is included into the price of the first thing.
So it will be
not charged separately.
It will be mixed supply or composite supply?
It will be supply, which is principal supply will be that of the jewelry, and remaining will be added as ancillary.
Okay. The next query is that sale of cricket kit, will it be composite or mixed supply? Cricket kit.
Cricket kit, because they are naturally bundled, it will be a composite supply.
Okay. In conjunction is also used in mixed supply. In conjunction is also used for mixed supply, where the words naturally bundled is not used. How can we say in conjunction and naturally bundled means the same?
See, conjunction means in combination of one to other. That is conjunction. And naturally bundled means also the same thing. So if they are used together, then it is just to put more emphasis on two or more things. There is no other intention behind it.
Okay. The next query: whether installing central air condition will be treated as works contract under GST. I think this is already covered by your presentation. It will be immovable property. Immovable. Works contract it will be. The next query is, in the case of make to order jewelry, sometime making charges are more than the cost of gold provided. What will be the principal supply?
Already I have discussed with you the
machinery example.
Are you going over there for labor charges, or you are going over there for purchasing jewelry?
Intention is to purchase.
Intention is purchasing the jewelry. Now, if you give him some difficult design, he might charge you more.
Okay. So supply will be the principal supply will be the gold.
Yes.
Next query: Schedule 2 Para 6 defines composite supply, namely supply by way of any services of goods, being food, will be treated as supply of services. Please elaborate how the takeaway foods is supply or service.
I also said that it is not a service, because when you get a packet ready, because in COVID nowadays, hotels are not working, they are sending the door delivery of the food. So actually they are not giving us any service, they are selling us the food. But because that particular schedule entry says that The takeaways is also a service. That is a service.
Okay. Sir, you mean to say the circular will override the sections merely by while showing separately in invoice?
No, see, basically Schedule 2, which is given under Section 7, that is supply, is for the purpose of solving the confusion. So, whenever there is a confusion, you are sure that it is a supply. Now, whether it is a supply of service or supply of goods, whenever there is a confusion, they have said that refer to Schedule 2, so that it becomes easier for us to tax it. That's all.
This query was in relation to the case of car repair service.
Car repair, as I told you, the car repair major intention is service, definitely. And while discussing that circular, I have also said that because the car parts are taxable at 28%, they have divided it in that circular.
Next query, interest charge on delayed payment in case of petrol, diesel, food grains and capital goods. Sorry, sir, what rate to apply to interest?
Interest, whatever is the principal supply, the same rate will be applicable to the interest which is charged. But remember one thing, it is not, the tax is not to be charged on the interest charged. It is on the interest realized. So whatever amount you get, on that only you have to charge the tax. So let us say I receive 10,000 rupees as interest. I should presume that is 118, where if it is 100 and tax is 18. So I divide 10,000 by 118 and find out what will be the tax.
So it means that tax is inclusive of that interest part.
Yes.
But then if interest is received for the late payment of the petrol and diesel, which is not subject to GST.
But then it will be VAT.
Okay, but then there is no provision in VAT like charging.
So if it is not there, then it will not be
subject to GST.
Subject to VAT.
Okay. Petrol pumps are providing monthly payment facility to customer and charging service charges as the percentage of bill amount. Are such service charges subject to GST?
Can you please repeat the question?
Petrol pumps are providing monthly payment facility. Means they are giving petrol at credit.
Right.
To the customer and then charging service charges as percentage of bill amount. So certain percentage of bill is charged as service charges. So whether this will attract GST?
If they are charging service charges separately.
Yes.
Because let us say filling of the petrol and all those things they do.
Yes.
And for that they are charging separately. Then in that case, if they are preparing separate bill for the purpose of petrol and services, the tax will be there on the services and there will not be GST on the petrol. But if they are giving it along with the petrol, then there will not be any, because principal supply in that case will become petrol. It will depend upon how the bill is prepared.
Okay. Along with tea, a biscuit is given as a promotion. Will it be mixed supply or composite supply? Similarly, if as a promotion, say a jar is given of 1 kg tea, will it be mixed or composite supply? Means with tea,
basically all these are the examples which are given in 42.
Yes.
So I don't think it requires answer again.
Okay. One of supply is mixed supply. One is book and another is electronic devices, which is generally sold together. One of our supply is mixed supply, one of is book and another is electronic device, which is generally sold together. Can we supply goods separately? Because books is exempt and device is taxable at 18%. मतलब electronic device के साथ book दे देते हैं.
मालूम है वो उसमें how you advertise, whether you are emphasizing more on electronic item which is being given, or you are advertising book, then second question which you have to take into consideration, what is the intention of the purchaser, whether he is purchasing for that electronic item or is purchasing it for book, All these things will decide. But according to me, if you make separate bills, then the question will be solved.
Okay. If the rate of GST on goods purchase is 28% and the supply of same goods and installation is 18%, then there is a mismatch in purchase rate and sell rate. What will be the solution in such case?
See, basically, whether it is a worse contract, that is the first question to be answered. If it is a worse contract, then the rate of the contract will be applicable. If it is not worse contract, if it is a composite supply, find out which is the prominent supply. So prominent supply is the equipment. Then the installation will be taxed at the same rate for which the equipment is sold.
Okay. Whether naturally bundle is to be taken for supplier or qua industry. Whether naturally bundle is to be taken qua supplier or qua industry.
See, qua industry or supplier is not the case. It is qua supply.
It should be qua supply.
So
there is one last query with me. A person who is contractor who provides renovation service where labor and material is supplied by the person where rate on material is 28% and labor is 18%. Whether it is composite or mixed supply, what will be the tax rate?
I have not followed the question. What is the type of supply?
A person is a contractor who provides renovation services.
Renovation
of the okay. Renovation services, and labor is costing at 18% GST and supply material is at 28%. Whether it is composite or mixed supply.
Renovation is of what? If it is of immovable property, it will become worse contract. If it is of, let us say, car, renovation of car,
okay,
then the principal intention or principal supply will be components of the car.
Okay.
So that rate will be applicable.
And then can we treat it as a composite or we should treat it as a mixed supply?
See, without service, can you fix those parts?
No, so it will be composite.
It is a composite supply.
Okay. Sir, educational institution supply transport service.
They are
exempt them from the GST because of education is principal supply and exempt for GST. Okay. Sorry. Sir, educational institution sale of notebooks is exempt of GST. Notebook जो sell करते हैं.
Notebook अगर taxable है तो educational institution ने भी supply किया.
Then also it will be taxable.
It will be taxable.
Okay, these are the queries. Thank you. Now I will request my friend Haresh Chugani to propose a hearty vote of thanks to the Dilip sir. Haresh, mic on कर. Mute.
अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा तेरे को.
नहीं अनम्यूट कर.
तेरे को करना पड़ेगा.
अच्छा मैंने किया अनम्यूट हरेश को.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Haresh.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. All will agree with me that Phadke sir, as always, means I had attended his session. I think so. I'm attending his sessions from past around 8 to 9 years, and he is in the same way delivering all sixes, all the balls at the boundaries. Sir, you have explained very lucidly and in a very minutest detail the confusions which are always there between mixed and composite supply. You have tried to sort it out and how to bifurcate all these things. But nevertheless, like you said, if there is a confusion, we have to refer to schedule 2. I would advise everybody, if there is a confusion, there is only one schedule, and that is Dilip Phadke sir. So we are going to bother you.
Anytime,
Thank you so much.
I have given my email also. My phone number is available on the screen. So definitely.
Thank you.
Sir is always with us.
Yeah.
Sir, now
with all these deliberations, I request everyone
all
to.
All those who are there on the screen, I know them personally.
Correct, sir. Correct. You are so much senior to us, sir.
Right.
So with all this thing, I propose a very hearty vote of thanks on behalf of all the associations and all the participants that are present over here. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, please.
Thank
Over
you.
to Vijay, please. Yeah.
Over to Vijay.
Thank you, Haresh. Thank you, Girish, for conducting the session very beautifully. Phadke sir, as always, thank you for accepting our request and coming. It was a pleasure hearing you again. And friends, basic
Always welcome.
yeah, friends, basic announcements now. Tomorrow we have a session on how to prepare a project report and design a loan for SMEs by our very own Shiv Bhagwan Asawaji at 11:30 a.m. Next Saturday we have a session on time and place of sup- supply of services under GST by uh, Prabhu Balakumar from Chennai. He's a chartered accountant and a very renowned speaker. And next Sunday, friends, on public demand, with now especially this Sushant Singh Rajput and all these issues coming up, we have kept a motivational talk show. Let us speak up on depression and suicide prevention. Friends, it is for your friends and family. The links will be shared. All are requested to kindly join. Thank you. Thank you all once again for joining. Thank you very much. Bye. See you. Open session for all, please.